All right, let's dive into the Discworld, specifically Sourcery. We're looking at magic systems going haywire, right? This one's got it, big time. A young sorcerer, Coin, throws the whole world into chaos.
And it's interesting, he's not just this random force of nature, right? Coin. He's being manipulated by his father, Ipslor the Red. A wizard with a serious vendetta against the magical establishment. That makes sorcery a wild ride. This mix of raw power, personal revenge.
Like a powder keg, stuffed with fireworks. And it all starts, doesn't it, at Unseen University.
Exactly. Unseen University, yeah. And Coin arrives and total pandemonium.
Oh, I bet.
Imagine, a young boy walks into the Great Hall, esteemed wizards gather, all of them, and he just creates a miniature world.
Oh, wow.
Tiny trees, mountains, the whole bit, just to prove a point.
Show off a little. I bet that went over well. These wizards spend their lives studying carefully, following rules, formulas.
Yes.
And then this kid shows up, effortlessly, wielding power they can barely comprehend, like cheat codes for the universe.
It's like that, yeah. A brilliant satire of academia, that clash, you know, between tradition and raw talent. The wizards are, well, awestruck and terrified because they realize, right, this isn't just some talented student. This is
different.
This is different. Coin's a sorcerer.
Right.
Eighth son of an eighth son. A conduit for raw magic, not bound by the usual limits.
Okay, hold on. So the eighth son thing, what's that all about? What makes a sorcerer so different from, you know, your average wizard?
Yes. In the Discworld, magic, well, it works kind of like a hereditary trait, you know? So eighth son of a wizard, you're going to be a wizard. But then you get to the eighth son of an eighth son.
Right.
Things change. It's like the lineage, the magic, it concentrates, amplifies, creates a being who can channel raw magic almost without effort.
So it's not just power. It's the source of it.
Yes, yes.
Wizards learn, right, to harness it through study, practice. But a sorcerer's just plugged in to cosmic mainframe.
You've got it. A great analogy that is. And that's why sorcerers are so dangerous. See, they're not limited by the same rules, same structures as wizards, reshaping reality on a whim. No training.
And no discipline.
No discipline, yeah. That usually tempers magic.
Which brings us back to Ipslor, the vengeful dad. Powerful wizard. But an outcast. What's his story? How does he tie into Coin's whole arrival?
Well, Ipslor, he was always different, more in touch, I'd say, with his emotions, and less concerned with the rigid traditions of wizardry.
Right.
He saw beauty in raw magic, power, but the other wizards clung to their rules, rituals, saw him as a threat, so exiled him.
Pushed him to the fringes.
The fringes, exactly, of the Discworld.
So he's weaponizing his son, this walking magical nuke, to get back at the people who, you know, wronged him. That's pretty dark, even for the Discworld.
It is. And it gets even darker when you consider how Ipslor is influencing Coin.
Right.
Remember, Coin is just a boy, immensely powerful, but impressionable. Groomed for revenge. Raw power channeled towards, well, his father's bitter agenda.
Okay. So we have a vengeful wizard's dad, a superpowered sorcerer's son, and a university full of stuffy wizards about to get a cosmic wake-up call. Sounds like some epic showdowns coming up.
Oh, absolutely. Things are going to get very messy. Wizard wars, gods caught in the crossfire, and a certain inept wizard, well, we all know him, Rincewind.
Oh, yeah, Rincewind.
Trying to run away from it all.
As always.
As always, yes.
Now, speaking of Rincewind, remember his luggage.
Oh, yes.
That
Magical upgrade in sorcery, doesn't it? All thanks to this chaotic energy. Imagine. A homicidal suitcase. Hundreds of little legs. Turbocharged with raw magic.
That's it, yeah. It's hilarious, but also a crucial point.
Yeah.
Coin's arrival. It's not just affecting individuals.
It's bigger.
It's warping reality.
So it's not just personal grudges and power plays. We're talking potential for the whole Discworld to unravel. This is apocalyptic. Absolutely. Stakes are incredibly high. And in all this chaos, we're forced to ask big questions about power, control, the very nature of magic.
We'll have to wait for part 2.
Indeed.
To unpack those questions.
Yes. But for now, picture it. A sorcerer, loose in Unseen University, a vengeful wizard, pulling the strings, and a magical suitcase, rampaging through the halls. Classic Discworld.
It's only going to get more chaotic.
Oh, yes. More chaotic from here.
Back again.
Yeah.
Last time, we left the Discworld teetering, right?
Yeah.
Like on the brink of collapse. You know, those what-if moments where history could have gone differently.
Oh, yeah.
That's the tension, isn't it, that Pratchett builds in Sourcery?
Absolutely. It's an exploration of chaos, And consequence, coin. Fueled by, well, his father's thirst for revenge, he's reshaping reality. An untamed power. The foundations of the Discworld are cracking.
Yeah, and Unsea University.
Right.
Right at the center of it all, which, as we know, isn't known for, its calm approach to these magical crises.
No, not at all. It becomes this microcosm of the chaos, engulfing the Discworld, wizards dueling, spells going haywire, even the librarian, usually a bastion of sanity, isn't it?
Oh, yes, the librarian.
Running around dire prophecies about the end of the world, as he puts it.
Oh, dear. It's like Pratchett took the classic magical school tropes and cranked them up to 11.
That's huge.
But yes, in the midst of all this, we have Rincewind.
Rincewind.
The ultimate unlikely hero. The guy's always trying to avoid danger.
Yes.
Yet he ends up right in the heart of it.
He does, doesn't he? That's the beauty of Rincewind. Not your traditional hero, not brave or powerful, in that sense.
Yeah.
But he has this resilience, incredible, a knack for surviving even the most absurdly dangerous situations.
In Sourcery, goes beyond running away.
Yeah.
He's a voice of reason, counterpoint to all the chaos.
Now, you mentioned how Pratchett uses humor to tackle these, serious themes.
Oh, yes.
Rincewind's a prime example. He's our anxiety right personified. In the face of the overwhelm.
But his attempts to cope, hilarious.
Hilarious, yes. But more than comic relief, it's deeper. Pratchett asks, what's our responsibility? When faced with these forces beyond our control, do we fight? Do we flee? Or find that middle ground?
And in Sourcery, that middle ground, a very unique confrontation. Rincewind, armed with,
his wit?
A sock. The luggage, of course.
Of course.
Facing off against Coin at the top of the Tower of Art.
Ah, the Tower of Art. Talk about an uneven playing field. The tower itself. Manifestation of Coin's power, isn't it? Conduit for raw magic. Warping reality.
And speaking of warping, remember the luggage, that magical upgrade.
Yes, the luggage.
Well, because of force of nature, a sapient pearwood suitcase. Hundreds of little legs rampaging through this tower, fueled by raw magic. A Roomba from hell.
That's one way to put it, a blend of humor and horror. It really underlines that Coin sorcery, it's affecting everything, but in the chaos, surprising turn. Rincewind. He doesn't fight. He doesn't flee.
No, what does he do?
He talks to Coin.
Ugh. So he tries to reason with a being that can reshape reality. Seems a little naive.
It might, yes, but that's Pratchett, subverting expectations. Rincewind, in his own way. Rincecoin, about simple joys. Things that make life worth living, even with the absurdity of it all. Appeals to Coin's humanity, something Ipsilor in his revenge overlooked.
So a pep talk.
What about the
beauty of existence?
Yeah.
To a sorcerer who's about to destroy it all. I love it. Wonderfully absurd, but it works.
It does. That's the key. To sorcery's climax. Coin. Immense power, but still young, impressionable, manipulated by his father, his magic directed towards destruction. But Rincewind's words plant a seed of doubt.
So he chooses to undo the chaos, snaps his fingers, everything goes back to normal.
Not quite. No reset button. No, it's more complex. He uses his sorcery, reverses the damage, but it's complex, uncertain, reshaping the fabric of reality itself, trying to stitch it back together.
So powerful. And it raises questions about free will. Our sorcerer's forces of nature. Did Coin choose this, or was he just a powerful being, getting bored with his game?
The fascinating question, the heart of it. Power. Responsibility. Is it redemption or a whim of a being operating on a scale beyond us?
He's saying that choice, consequence, right? They remain.
Yeah.
Even with unimaginable power. What about Ipsilor, though? How does he react to his son basically rejecting the whole revenge plan?
Ipsilor is, tragic in a way. Consumed by bitterness, resentment, blinded. When Coin chooses balance, Ipsilor is defeated, not by magic, but by his own inability to let go of the anger.
A reminder that sometimes the most destructive forces come from within.
Yeah.
Not some external threat.
Yes, and that cyclical nature of power and revenge. Ipsilor was wrong, so he seeks to punish through his son, perpetuating the cycle. More pain, more suffering. Coin breaks the cycle by choosing differently, offers hope for a different future.
Okay, so world saved from destruction. Vengeful wizard defeated by his own bitterness, and a cowardly wizard, he talks a sorcerer into being responsible. Eventful day on the Discworld, but there's more to this story.
You're right. Oh, absolutely. The aftermath. Just as fascinating. The Discworld might be safe, but the experience changes everyone. We're left to ponder the impact of Coin sorcery, the future of magic itself. And, of course, what becomes of a young sorcerer? Who has tasted that power, the power to reshape reality?
Back again, we've seen it all, haven't we? A world on the brink, vengeful wizard thwarted, and Rincewind, our cowardly wizard, nudging a sorcerer no less toward responsibility. But what strikes me is how this changes the Discworld. It's like a magical earthquake, leaves its mark, long after the tremors.
Yeah, I see that. We focus on the immediate crisis, right? The powers, personalities, all clashing, but the impact that unfolds over time ripples outwards, affects, well, everything, individuals, institutions even, reality itself.
Speaking of ripples, unintended consequences. Coined sorcery. He used it for good, right? To restore balance. But it had consequences, unintended ones.
Oh, it did. And Pratchett, he doesn't shy away from that, from the messiness.
No, he doesn't. It would have been easy to just wrap it all up neatly. Sorcerer sees the error of his ways, world saved, everyone goes back to normal. But that's not how it works.
No, not at all. Not how real change works. Not how real magic works.
Right. You can't put the genie back in the bottle. The Discworld's had a taste of raw magic, unbound, and it changes the game for everyone, especially, well, the wizards at Unseen University.
Of course. These are people who built their lives, their knowledge around, well, control, structure in magic. Then suddenly, a force outside their rules, beyond their even comprehension.
I can imagine the faculty meetings now.
Yeah.
Right, chaps? What happened, and how do we stop it from happening again?
Exactly. It's satire, of course. Academia, tradition, struggling to adapt. But it's more than that. Pratchett asks us, what happens when our systems of knowledge fail? How do we deal with, well, with the unknown, the uncontrollable?
And that's a question for all of us, isn't it? Not just the Discworld. We're in a time of change. Rapid change. The old rules, they don't apply anymore.
No, they don't. It's like we're constantly confronted by forces bigger than us, more complex.
That our ability to even grasp them and own coin. He embodies that, doesn't he? Immensely powerful, but also just a boy trying to figure it out, who he is, where he belongs.
He does, yes.
So what becomes of him? Does he stick around, try to be responsible, or does he just vanish, leave everyone else to, well, clean up the mess?
Pratchett, well, he doesn't answer that, leaves it open. And I think that ambiguity, it's intentional, makes us consider the possibilities, even immense power. Doesn't come with, a manual.
No, it doesn't. It's like he's saying, here's this being. He defies categories, not a hero, not a villain, not even a typical protagonist, a force of nature, a paradox, and his fate, unknowable, like magic itself.
Yes, like magic itself.
And that's sorcery, isn't it? Not just a crisis averted. It's about the limits of understanding, the power of chaos, and the truth that even when we think we have answers, the universe, wow, it throws us a curveball.
It does, it does.
Well said. I think that's it for our deep dive. Thanks for taking us on this ride through the Discworld. It's been, well, everything. Enlightening, hilarious, and something to think about.
My pleasure. And for anyone listening, pick up Sourcery, or any Discworld book, really. You'll laugh, you'll question, and maybe, just maybe, you'll find a little magic in the everyday.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? Exploring ideas, expanding perspectives, reminding ourselves that there's always more to learn, more to discover, more to ponder. So until next time, keep those minds curious. And those imaginations, well, keep them open.